Hello, everyone. From the headlines, if you look strictly at the surface, it appears that some type of progress is being made in various areas pertaining to the war in Ukraine. However, what I encourage everyone to do is consider the situation on the ground. So, while I would love to be optimistic, all things considered, the history considered, and the enemy considered, it's very difficult. So let's start with this. So I'm glad that the European leaders got together and signed a treaty that establishes a separate governance body to assess the damages in Ukraine pertaining to the war and then figure out how the reparations are to be paid. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm not saying it's a useless thing. It is a good thing. It's useful. However, my question immediately is, how do you make Russia pay those? What are you going to do? Because one of their conditions for peace has been to not be held responsible for anything they have done in Ukraine. Poland's Prime Minister Tusk also spoke positively about the work pertaining to strengthening the eastern border of Europe, because they understand that Russia is definitely a threat. So again, that's a good thing. The bad thing is that they haven't already been doing that, because there have been plenty of warning. We had the annexation of Crimea in 2014. Okay? We had the incursion of Russian militants into the Donetsk-Luhansk region in 2014. We had the shooting down of the Malaysian Airlines civilian airplane in 2014. They could have been doing all of this legwork, laying the foundation for the defenses since then, but they did not. And it's particularly surprising because, again, I hold up the Europe to a different standard because they have experienced war on their territory. They have experienced invasion. They have experienced all of this in the past, and they really should know better. Another thing. So Zelensky says that he and the European allies have worked out a very workable peace plan that will be presented to Russia. But I can say right away that likely Russia will discard it. It will not accept it. Because we already know that their message is my way or the highway. Also, it's rather ironic that Kremlin spokesman Peskov said that Russia wants a comprehensive peace deal, not a truce, and that they don't want to just give Ukraine a respite and prepare for the continuation of war. That is a projection. In the next sentence, we want to stop this war, achieve our goals, secure our interests, and guarantee peace in Europe for the future. Remember, their goal is the invasion of Ukraine. Securing their interests is invasion of Ukraine. So, obviously, their goals and their interests have nothing to do with the safety of anybody. It has everything to do with intimidation and control, which is why I don't think they're going to accept any plan that comes out of any discussion between Zelensky and the European allies. And, you would think, yeah, that's a good thing. U.S. officials say Washington has agreed to give Ukraine security guarantees in peace talks. However, Notice that very important word in that very first sentence. The U.S. has agreed to provide unspecified security guarantees. No, we've done this already. Again, go back and reread your personal copy of the Budapest Memorandum. We've done this already. We've had unspecified security guarantees. And once again, the question is, how are those going to be enforced? So if US decides to back out of those unspecified security guarantees, who's going to punish them for it? Yeah, I know. Good question, right? So, again, all these headlines, I'm sorry to say, without any substance under the surface, this is just fluff. This is the substance. This is the substance. So Russia, again, says that they want lasting peace, and they go, what? Pummel Kyiv. They say they want lasting peace. They do what? They initiate another offensive in another town in the Donetsk region, in Siversk. Now, again, this is not a new offensive. This is another one of those where they have been trying and trying and trying. The first one took place as early as 2022. So this has been going on for a while. Like Kupiansk, like Pokrovsk, they keep trying to get in and trying to get in and trying to get in, and they keep paying a very high price and not making a whole lot of progress. So in this particular case, they actually managed to get into Siversk. Whether they will be able to hold on to it is another matter. And then there is this, going back to the reparations. Yes, there has been tremendous destruction. There's been damage to every part of Ukrainian industry, every part of Ukrainian infrastructure. I'm not even talking about the tremendous losses of historic buildings and works of art. Some of the collections, including works of artists that were unique, those collections were unique. Entire collections have been lost, burned down, bombed out, all of that. But yes, there is also the mental health toll inside Ukrainian homes. I know this because I talk to my parents every single week. They talk about this a lot. We have an entire generation now of Ukrainian children who have never gone to school normally, who have gone to school in the subway stations because that was the safest place, who had air drills, and who have cell phones with the air raid alerts on them. And yes, I agree. If Ukraine's recovery plans focus only on reconstruction and not on mental health, the country risks rebuilding its cities while its home remain unwell. Unwell here is an understatement of the century. I mean, those of us who have loved ones in Ukraine and can't get them out are pretty much wrecked. And we understand that our loved ones whom we can't get out are even more wrecked by several orders of magnitude. Who is going to cover this? And again, I want to remind everybody, Russia thinks that it should absolutely not be held responsible for any of this. How is that okay? More to come.